so glad that you've logged on to watch this episode of our library shorts. Every day this week, a staff member from an Arrowhead Library system is going to be sharing something amazing with you, and I hope you'll watch them all. So today I'm here in my home kitchen and I'm going to share a fun experiment that you can try at home to explore the science of acids and bases. Okay? So have you ever had a drink of something? I'm going to put some lemon juice in this cup. Have you ever had a drink of something and gone like this? Because it was so sour, you were probably drinking an acid or something that was acidic. Have you ever used something like this and noticed that your hands felt a little slippery or slimy? Okay. I don't think you want to taste the dish soap, but if you did, it would probably taste a little bitter and feel kind of slippery. And that's some of the characteristics of bases. So acids and bases are just two names for special kinds of chemicals. Almost all liquids are either going to be an acid or a base or somewhere in between. Okay? If the liquid has a lot of hydrogen ions inside of it, it's considered an acid. If it has a lot of hydroxide ions, it's considered a base. But you can't see those ions with your eyes. So we have to do something to test to see if it's an acid or a base. So there are a lot of things in nature and that we use in our homes that are either acids or bases. Some can be dangerous, like some cleaning products, and some can be very helpful. Okay? So a battery, this is something that can be very helpful to put inside a flashlight, but inside of it is a very strong acid. Okay? Inside your stomach, you have a very strong acid that helps you digest food. If you had acid that was that strong in a cup, it could be very dangerous. Okay? So they can be helpful or dangerous depending on the use. Okay? So today I want to show you how you can use red cabbage as an indicator to help you test whether something is an acid or a base. Okay? I hope that you'll try this at home after you watch this video and do a little exploring in your own kitchen. Okay? So the first step, we're going to take this cabbage and either cut it or tear it into some small pieces. Now, you don't need a whole cabbage. So if you're going to have some cabbage for dinner, you could use some of this leftover in your kitchen for dinner. So I'm going to tear it in small pieces and put it in a pan. Okay. And add some water. That should be good. And then I'm going to put it on the stove and boil it. Now, I hope that you'll get the help from a grown-up, okay, if you're going to be using the stove. Okay? So we're going to let that start to boil. Another thing you can do instead of using the stove is use a blender. Okay? So you could put some of this cabbage into the blender. Like this. Okay. Again, add some water. And we're going to just blend that right up and make some cabbage juice. Okay. Isn't that pretty? Let that sit there for a moment. Now, I knew that we wouldn't have that much time during our video to watch this boiling, so I've got some that I had already boiled, and we're going to just strain that juice, okay, into a cup. So I'm going to take a jar and go over to my sink in case I spill, and I'm going to strain that juice so I get rid of all the leaves. I spilled a lot, but I've got some beautiful cabbage juice here, okay? So So I'm going to put some of that cabbage juice into a few different glasses. Okay. And we're going to use this as an indicator to see what happens when we add a liquid to it. Okay. So the first liquid I'm going to add is something that we know is an acid. Okay. I've got this vinegar. Okay, and on the jar it says that it's 5% acid. Okay. So let's see what happens when I add a known acid to our cabbage juice. Wow, isn't that beautiful? Turned a beautiful color. Okay. Now I'm going to add something that I know is a base, okay, baking soda, to our next jar. And I'm going to make a little bit of a solution with baking soda. So I'm going to take some tap water and add a big spoon of baking soda, give it a stir, and I'm going to add that. And it went from purple to a pretty blue color. Okay. So this is my cabbage juice, and here's what it looks like in an acid and in a base. Okay. So now we're going to try something that we're not sure about. Okay. So I brought some pop along. Now it's kind of nice to test a clear liquid because it doesn't really interfere with the color changes. So let's add some of this pop. And before I do that, do you think this is going to be an acid or a base? Let's give it a try. Well, do you think it's more like our vinegar, that's an acid, or more like the baking soda, a base? Yeah, so our pop is acidic. Right? So at home you can try other liquids and see what color you get and see if you have an acid or a base. Okay? So set up some controls using vinegar and baking soda, and then go ahead and try some other liquids in your home. Okay? So this week our theme for our library shorts is community. Okay? And you might think, what does cabbage juice and acids and bases have to do with community? Well, I think that just like our acids and bases, our communities are a lot stronger when we have people with a lot of different talents, different ideas, different backgrounds, and our bodies need acids of different strengths. In our homes, we can do things like cleaning, cooking, using batteries, with different kinds of materials, different kinds of liquids that are acids and bases. So we're stronger when we have a variety of products to use, just like our communities. So thanks for joining me for this library short, looking at the science of acids and bases. And I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.